Hey guys, I hope you're all okay. I've got a very special guest and video for you today. I'm going to have a recorded Zoom chat with a high-level Olympic weightlifter. Her name is Kristina Santos, aka the Wonder Woman. Kristina is a British champion, a British record holder in the snatch and the total. We're going to be covering topics like the typical training schedule, nutrition, participation of the sport of weightlifting, and quite interestingly, balancing the work life with training life. This will be interesting as well because Christine is also a med student and works long hours in an NHS hospital during this global pandemic. She is truly an inspirational person to me, and I hope many others as well. I hope you take as much value from this video as possible and go support her on Instagram at Kristina Santos 13. Now, before I start this video, can I please ask you to maybe like and subscribe to this channel? If you're interested in Olympic weightlifting or general strength sports, then this might be built for you. I'm only just starting out, so please give me time to gather my bearings. It might be not the best quality at the moment, but I will guarantee I will develop my game and deliver as much quality content to you guys as possible. Now, enough of me, let's just get on with the video and I hope you enjoy it. Kristina.
Hello.
Okay. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I've actually been looking forward to this.
Highlight of my week. I'm finally talking to a different human being.
I've given you a little introduction myself, but would you like to elaborate and introduce yourself fully?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Kristina Santos, or Christina, whatever. It will be both names. So I am the under-23 British. Well, I was the under-23 British champ in 2019 and 2018. I am over the age of 23 now, so I am not under 23 anymore, and I'm chasing the senior records for the snatch, clean and jerk and total. So I also hold the snatch and total record as an under 45 when I was an under 23. People don't actually know my name. They just kind of like know me as the girl who competes in her Wonder Woman singlet. So when I go to competitions, they don't call me Christine. They just say, "Oh, hi, Wonder Woman girl." So yeah.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. And on top of this, I am also a medical student. So and I also work in a hospital. My medical school is actually in Tbilisi in Georgia. So because of the pandemic, unfortunately, I was not able to fly to Tbilisi. I was meant to fly last September, so I had to kind of start my course online. And I'm really looking forward to go. So hopefully I could meet the Georgian weightlifting team in May, or the latest would be like end of August when I finally relocate.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And it's quite interesting that you're also a medical student, also working at the NHS hospitals as well, aren't you? So we can go into a bit of that a bit later on in the video. Let's just start with weightlifting. What initially got you into weightlifting?
So initially I just kind of wanted to get strong and build muscles, because when I was in school, I remember I was kind of bullied for being really, really skinny, to the point where I looked kind of ill, like sick. Like my legs were literally as thick as my arms now. So I just didn't like how I looked. So I started going to the gym. I started going to like just a commercial gym, and I did like squats, deadlifts, just like bodybuilding stuff to add extra mass on me.
Yeah.
And then when I was at that gym, I kind of met like CrossFitters. So they got me into CrossFit, and then a few months later, I found myself doing CrossFit, and I actually enjoyed CrossFit. Yeah. But then after 2 months of doing just CrossFit, I broke my clavicle. So I was out for, I'd say, over a year. And then when I was out, I could only think of, doing two things, which is the snatch and the clean and jerk, because those are the lifts that I actually enjoyed the most when I was doing CrossFit. So I wanted to get better and get back to weightlifting, and totally dump CrossFit because I didn't enjoy like rope climbs or kipping pull-ups.
Well,
I just enjoyed clean and jerk.
Quite common that the Olympic lifts are quite one of the most exciting things in CrossFit. No one wants to look forward to like a big long Metcon or a long chipper. like
Yeah,
it is big lifts they want to be doing.
I just couldn't do cardio. So yeah, I fell in love with the Olympic lifts from day one of CrossFit. So I tried to. So when my clavicle got better, I tried to find a club, and because back then I lived in Kerbra. I mean, no one has heard of this place. This place is somewhere. I just say I live in Brighton because people know Brighton, but it's not even that close to Brighton. It's about like an hour away by bus, but that's like the closest main city. So I tried to find like weightlifting clubs around, and because weightlifting is such a small sport, like there are not many clubs around, especially in Kerbra. Like that's just a little town surrounded by a forest. So the closest club to me was actually in London. So I joined Sutton Weightlifting Club with Phil and Matt. So they were brothers, and then they kind of just started me off. And after that, I went to Oxford because I went to uni, and then I kind of like transferred from Sutton Weightlifting Club to OXB with Marius and Julie. And then after that, I finished uni. I started doing it solo, and then I felt like I wasn't making enough progress. So I kind of like asked Sarah and Jack from Wisdom for Weightlifting to help me out. And then from there on, I wanted to take like a bit of a break because I was working a lot, and I was like planning my next move in terms of my career progression. So I was doing it solo again, and then I decided to kind of just like get programs from different coaches. So I was with Oldbury Weightlifting Club for a while, just for programming and stuff. And then I also trained with Kaz from Stars for the Future in Perivale in London, and then like on and off with Christian in Brunel. So that's kind of like how I started and how I flipped from different clubs to another. But now I'm just doing it solo, and I actually kind of enjoy doing it this way because my program is a little bit more flexible, and I could add my own bits on top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go back a little bit. So when you decided to leave CrossFit behind and just focus on the Olympic lifts, and before you jumped onto any programs with any coaches, what were your like initial goals or intentions in weightlifting?
So my initial goal was literally just to have fun and to get strong and to build muscle. But then like the competitive side of me kind of took over, and I wanted to take it further, and I wanted to see how far I could go. So I decided to do competitions. But it was literally just, I wanted to get strong. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to look better. So yeah, those are literally, they're not really goals. It's more like just how I wanted how I wanted to feel, basically.
Yeah. So you fell in love with weightlifting, and then you just thrown yourself in there then, like you just training weightlifting full time in your training.
So I fell in love with the Olympic lifts from day one of CrossFit, and then when I was injured, all I could think about was doing snatch and clean and jerk again. So
yeah, because you do get a lot of people coming to weightlifting from CrossFit nowadays, don't you? It's gaining a lot of popularity.
Yeah, CrossFit has brought like lots of people into weightlifting, which is really, really cool. Because if it wasn't for CrossFit, I probably wouldn't even know weightlifting existed, to be honest. Like, because I came from a family where we just focus on our academia. So my parents never really took me to any sporting events. So I never did gymnastics when I was little. I had literally no sporting background before weightlifting. Yeah. And I was the first one in my family to actually like compete in a sport at like a national level. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't argue that. The fact that I wouldn't have known either what Olympic weightlifting fully was if I didn't start in CrossFit. First introduction to CrossFit was, I don't know if you've ever seen the documentaries Fittest on Earth. Remember one being on Netflix, and I watched that, and that's about the CrossFit Games. So I fell in love with that, and from that, it was the weightlifting part that just like struck out to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of others can agree with that.
Yeah, I think I was drawn into weightlifting because of the technical elements of the lift. Because like I think in a way, I'm a perfectionist, and when I do something, I want to do it to the best of my abilities, to like the most perfect way I could do something. So I knew that it was something that's gonna like keep me working hard to get to like the perfection. I mean, there's obviously, perfect for someone might not be perfect for someone else, but I just like want my lifts to look as perfect as they can be in my own standard.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I was really drawn to the Olympic lifts, is the technical elements of the lifts.
Yeah. And they do say, don't they, in CrossFit, if you're coming in already as a gymnast or as a weightlifter, you've got a massive advantage, because they're probably the two most technical things. And obviously, it's hard to work on your weightlifting if you're doing CrossFit alongside it. I feel like sometimes you do have to go through a weightlifting program, like primarily in your training, to actually get better in your Olympic lifts, because you can't just spend, say, 2 days of your week practicing your clean and jerk or your snatch and expect to be like at a high level.
I remember when I did CrossFit, like, when we had like workouts of the day, we didn't do like Olympic lifts every single day. I think it was more like every other day. So I didn't really get like so much exposure to the Olympic lifts, but I knew in my mind that every time like a snatch or a clean and jerk exercise came up, I was super, super excited. And those were like the best ones I've ever done. Yeah.
So you threw yourself into weightlifting because you enjoyed it yourself, but were there any role models in the picture?
So there are actually two women primarily that inspired me to kind of like take it further. So the first one is Sarah Davis, obviously, because she's my old coach, and she's just extremely amazing. And like, I'd argue that she's one of the best, not just in the UK, but like in the whole world.
Okay.
So she also got me into doing pageants, actually. From Sarah, I learned like not to be scared of throwing myself into, into like outside my comfort zone. So she taught me to be comfortable in being like uncomfortable and not being scared of like trying something new. So now, because of her, I always set like really high targets for myself, like numbers that really scare me. So the second lady would be Hidlyn Diaz. I'm not sure if you know her, but she's like a fellow Filipino weightlifter. She was the first Filipino lady to ever win like an Olympic medal for the Philippines, which is really, really amazing. That's kind of why I love her. I admire her persistence and her humility. She's brought so much pride to the country, and for that, I really, really admire her. So I think I saw her during 2012 Olympics and in London, and she actually bombed out during her clean and jerks, and then she came back after 4 years in the Rio Olympics and won like a silver medal. So that just shows that she has this persistence and this desire to just get to where she wants to be, and nothing really stopped her. After like that, many people would say that as a failure. She came back and she came back stronger. That's an amazing quality to have. So that's why I really am very inspired of her.
You've kind of adopted that mindset and applied that to your own training.
Of bouncing back from any adversity. Like I had a brief chat with her actually years and years ago. I don't even remember the year, but this was when I wasn't even like good in weightlifting. I just love how she takes adversity as like not a negative thing. She takes it as like an opportunity to get better and to get stronger. So that's why I kind of learned from her. And from Sarah, it's just literally throwing myself out there into the unknown and being okay with it. And being like, telling myself that I could do anything that I set myself to do. So those are like the ladies that have inspired me in this sport.
I feel that's one thing that's holding me back, is not throwing myself in there. We've had this conversation before, haven't we? How it's all about mind games going into your lifts. Doesn't matter what weight. You just got to throw yourself into it. And
so I think for me, if like during training, if I see a weight that I've never lifted in my life, I would give 110%. I don't care if I don't get it, as long as I give it a go, as long as I actually try. Yeah, so that's, I think for me, that's a trait that I have that I don't think lots of people have, because I don't get scared if I see a weight. I actually get very excited. I'm like, yeah, I can do this, which is kind of a bad thing because that's how I keep hurting myself. It's a good mentality to have, but like sometimes it's not very good when I'm in training, because I'm literally gonna go for it. I don't care if I die. But now I've learned that, I I just need to have that mentality during competitions when it actually matters. If I'm just training, I should just let go of that, because that's how I'm gonna literally end up broken.
So in your journey of weightlifting, at what point was it when you realized that you could compete at a higher level and do it competitively on, say, a national or international level?
I think it was when I started training with Sarah and Jack, when I joined Wisdom for Weightlifting, because there were loads of other kind of newbie lifters who were really like eager to compete, and that kind of energy rubbed onto me. So and they were like doing tier 2 competitions, like the English and stuff. So I thought, might as well give it a go. I never intended to do the English, to be honest. I just like wanted to do like the regional and like open comps to build my confidence. But then like when I joined Wisdom for Weightlifting, because everyone was kind of like supporting each other, I decided, okay, I'll give it a go. And I don't care if I don't get a medal or get a placing. I just wanted to be there and to do it for the experience, because everyone was backing me up, and like Sarah was there to coach me. So,
So you spoke about the tiers then. For any people that don't understand that system, would you like to like explain how that works?
Tier 3, it's like open competitions, so no qualification totals whatsoever. Anyone can join, provided that they have British weightlifting membership. Tier 2, it's kind of like a higher level. So it's sorry, tier 3 is the regional. Did I say tier 1?
No, I think that's it.
Open, sorry. Tier 2 is like something higher, so like the national level. So that's like the English. And then tier 1, it's the highest, so that's the British Championships.
Yeah.
So with that one, you have to qualify, and you have to hit like certain numbers before you could actually what do you call it, not apply, but like to actually qualify to actually be able to do it. You can't just do the British without hitting the qualification totals, unlike tier 3, where you could just literally sign up and do it.
So everyone basically goes into the tier 3 open comp. They do their lifts. If they make the cut of qualification in their lifts, they'll go to the tier 2 event, which could be the English Championships, the Welsh, and then from there they go up to the British, I believe. So right now, currently, what is your training schedule looking like at the moment?
So usually, it's always 6 times a week. So I train. This is gonna sound really surprising because it seems like I don't have any time, but I train 6 times a week. Usually my Olympic weightlifting days are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So Monday and Thursday are my clean and jerk days. Tuesday and Friday are my snatch days. I never do like clean and jerk and snatch on the same day because I get too confused. And like with my Olympic weightlifting days, there's always like one thing that I focus on. So like, for example, today I had snatches and I focused on literally just punching up. So I eliminate that rebound, that locking movement of my elbow, because that's a problem for me. So and for example, if it's a clean and jerk day, I just focus on one thing, which might be like just keeping the bars close to my body during the clean. And if I do both snatches and clean and jerks on the same day, I get kind of confused because I have 2 things that I'm working on. So with me, I only like to work on one thing at a time, because otherwise I'd feel like I'm not making any progress. I feel like, it's too overwhelming because I
Yeah.
only want to address like one aspect of my technique per day, just so I don't get too
Yeah.
confused and too overwhelmed.
Yeah, because it's such a mental. Sorry, you carry on.
Oh, and Wednesday and Saturday are my other training days. So those days are usually for accessory work, mainly upper body, core, even mobility and stretching. So yeah, and Sunday is always resting.
And are your accessories, are they quite consistent with what you're doing week by week, or is it just building on weaknesses that you feel in that week or the week before?
So my accessory work is based on my weaknesses. So it's usually like upper body exercises because my upper body is relatively weak compared to my legs and the rest of my lower body.
Right.
So it's just a lot of pressing. It's like a lot of rowing. I even do like weird bodybuilding stuff like bicep curls, bench press. So just anything that I think would benefit me, because any bodybuilding element that's gonna make my body strong overall is gonna help with the Olympic lifts. It's not just, to get strong, you don't just have to do clean jerks and snatches. You have to like build your body in a certain way to be able to handle, all that load, especially like on your joints and everything. So doing accessory work is really going to help with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with injury prevention as well, it's definitely useful.
Yeah. I feel like what Team China would really drill down is their accessory work. A lot of people always wonder why do they always look so good? They always have such good physiques. Probably because they are doing a lot of bodybuilding, aren't they? And working on
they do a lot. Yeah. And they do like core work that I've never even seen. They use like really weird machines that I've never seen in my life. But yeah, so I think, focusing on the little muscle groups as well, because, those are the ones stabilizing the bigger muscle groups, is a very important element of training. I mean, I knew this beforehand, but it's only like recently that I've actually started doing my accessory work properly, because I kept getting injured, and in my head, like, if I actually did my accessory work, then this wouldn't happen.
Yeah,
so I only started doing them properly, like, quite recently. I'd say, like, before my birthday, like, before last October.
Yeah.
Before that, I wasn't really taking them too seriously, which was a mistake. So you guys shouldn't do that.
So I'm guessing you're seeing the gains from that then.
Obviously. Yeah, so I actually built so much muscle, like, especially on my upper half. Yeah. And I like seeing more muscles and just like more definition. So it's really exciting. It's like a bonus to becoming strong. It's like looking like you actually lift.
Yeah. So on the topic of gaining muscle, gaining weight, what are your intentions in terms of weight classes going forward? Obviously, you're at the 45 kg at the moment.
Yeah. So right now, my body weight is usually around 48 kilograms. I think I'm a little bit heavier now because I've stopped working with my nutritionist just for like a short period of time, because I don't really need to diet because there are no competitions anyway. So I want to do maybe one more competition as a 45, which ideally would be the British this year. If it happens, we don't know. So I literally just want to get a senior record under my name.
Right.
Ideally the snatch, because I'm quite close. So my best snatch is 60, and the current snatch record for the senior in the under 45 is like 64, I believe. So I'm quite close.
Yeah.
So once I hit that, then I would want to move up to 49, because I feel like there's not much incentive for me to stay at this low body weight, because it's not even like an Olympic weight class, or like it's not even a weight class in the Commonwealth, I don't think. So it's just like, it's not very appealing anymore because there's not much to gain really. But if I was 49, then I could do so much more. And I could actually eat lots more carbs, which I actually crave.
But then obviously you have to think about the competition that you get when you are moving up. Obviously you must have already thought about, you might get lifters that are naturally 53, 52.
Yeah.
They're going down.
So I don't really care about the other lifters from like where they start cutting from. Like, I only care about getting myself to that weight, because for me, obviously going up to 49, I'm not cutting. I'm have to be bulking.
Yeah.
So bulking is something that I've never really had an experience with. I've always cut. So that's going to be a challenge. But I do have a nutritionist, so hopefully we could sort something out and actually get me to 49 without becoming fat. That's always the worry, like going up a weight class and just, I don't know, putting on the wrong kind of weight. But yeah, I'm excited to move up to 49 because, mass moves mass. So the heavier I weigh, the more I could lift.
Yeah.
And it's all about just lifting heavy for me. It's not about, staying at the smallest weight class possible.
No, obviously, it's really good how much weight people can move at such low body weights in weightlifting. So it doesn't matter if you are gaining weight. The way you are right now and the way you're moving is really interesting, but also amazing to watch, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I like watching weightlifters because the way that they move the bar around the body just looks so beautiful, know. Especially the small weightlifters. Like, it's amazing as to how they could move that weight over their head with such small bodies. It's pretty amazing to watch.
It's always them that have the best technique as well, isn't it? Because obviously sometimes you get like the bigger lifters and they have big muscles and it's quite raw strength sometimes. With the lighter lifters, you'd see the technique and the science in the sport, really, can't you?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm still using raw strength because my squats and my deadlifts are like far higher than my Olympic lifts. So, for example, my best deadlift is 120 and my best back squat is around about the same, 120, but I think it was low bar, so it wasn't even high bar. And then, like, if you look at my snatch, my best snatch is 60, so that's literally half. And my clean and jerk, my best ever clean and jerk is 72.5. My best clean is around 78. So there's a big gap between my strength exercise versus my Olympic weightlifting. So I'm still not very efficient. So I have loads and loads of strength, but my Olympic lift is not even close to that. So I think there's definitely some more room for me to improve my technique and efficiency. So I can actually like get my Olympic lifts closer to my back squat and my deadlifts.
Yeah. So does that mean you're going to be cutting back maybe on your strength?
So the plan right now is just because of the lockdown, I need to preserve as much leg strength as possible so that when I actually get back to the gym, I'm not, so weak.
Yeah.
So I'm not really cutting back on the squats and deadlifts right now. If anything, it's actually, the reps and the load that I'm doing, they've actually gone up. Just so I could, keep working on that strength so I could, just maintain the strength that I have right now. But with my Olympic lifts, I am on a mini deload right now for various reasons, mainly because I can't really drop the weight because of my neighbors. They're complaining, but that's fine. I also need a break anyway because I feel like when I take the weight down, that's when I actually feel how my body's moving. I like feeling that I have control of the bar rather than just lifting heavy for the sake of lifting heavy. Yeah. Like, I've always focused on technique. Like, for me, technique is paramount over to like anything else. Like, even at the gym, people who really know me, they know that even if my program says you need to snatch 55 doubles today, and I know if I can't do that like technically perfect and I have to go down, and I won't feel bad about it. So for me, the focus it's not about the weight, it's more like my technique. So I always put my technique above everything else. I don't care if my program says I need to do heavier. If I can't do it perfectly in my own standards, then I drop the weight.
Yeah. Not focus on the weight, focus more on the technique. And that's one thing for me I need to work on. Sometimes I have a bit of an ego going into the gym. I just want to throw the plates on. But you just got to learn to let that go a bit, haven't you?
I usually leave my ego outside the door because I don't just want to lift heavy for the sake of lifting heavy. And like with Olympic lifts, like your technique is gonna be the one who's gonna that's gonna like get you at a high level, not raw strength. Because otherwise, might as well do powerlifting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. On that topic though, I've seen you squat and deadlift, and
Yeah,
you have looked at the British records for powerlifting, haven't you?
I have. So actually, I'm very close to the squat record in powerlifting. So the under 47 weight class squat, the best squat is I think well the current record is 125.
Yeah.
And my best squat right now is 120. So I'm actually really, really close. And with my body weight being 48 kilograms, I literally just need to cut a kilogram. And I could do that in like maybe a day.
Yeah.
So I could just wake up and sign up to a comp and be like, yeah, I'm ready for this. But I don't want to do like a powerlifting competition just to get the the squat record. So I want to do a powerlifting competition when I could actually bench and deadlift properly. I don't just want to go there and do squats. I feel like might as well do the full thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'm also considering competing in powerlifting just at least once to get, a record of something. Yeah, of some sort.
Yeah. See what it's about, see if you enjoy it.
Yeah. I do enjoy the powerlifting movement, especially sumo deadlifts and bench press actually I do enjoy a lot. Squats, it's like it's normal. It's like I do it for weightlifting too, but I play around with low bar, and low bar is still very uncomfortable, but I could lift I'd say 5 more kilograms if I do low bar than if I do high bar. So not a big difference, but still like I'm trying to get used to the bar placing on my back. And that's another reason why I'm trying to grow my back, because I need that big shelf to hold the bar. That's bodybuilding motivation right there. To get a bigger back so I can hold the bar in a low bar position for squat.
Well, it's interesting because normally weightlifters, they just focus on high bar, don't they?
Yeah.
They'd like to be higher up in their catching positions for the lifts, don't they?
I don't know actually why a lot of weightlifters just do high bar, because I do both low bar and high bar, and I feel like they're working on kind of different muscle groups, and for me, like training different muscle groups is just gonna make me a stronger person overall. So I don't see why doing low bar should like negatively impact your weightlifting. So when people ask like, why do you do low bar? It looks really weird. It feels very strange. It doesn't feel very weightlifting-y.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just working on a different leg muscle, which is just, just going to make you stronger overall. Because if you're using the same muscle group all the time, then you're not really giving your body that chance to, that new stimulus, that chance to adapt and get stronger.
That's quite interesting. I've never actually thought of that. I've always just stuck to what people said about keeping it high bar, do front. Obviously, you must front squat a lot as well, though. So that'll obviously keep you in an upright position. And
so the thing, I don't actually have a problem staying upright. So that's never a weakness for me with snatches or squats or anything. I could literally be like super, super upright. The problem with me is like sometimes I need to throw in a new exercise because my body gets used to the exercises really, really quickly, especially with like the back squat, especially with like high bar. I could do high bar squat every single day and my legs won't even feel anything. So that's like a sign that you need to change something up because your body is literally not getting stronger because your body's so used to it. So any new stimulus, anything that's like changing it up a little bit would definitely help. That's why I also incorporate, low bar squat. I change it up sometimes to low bar.
Interesting. Obviously, for those that are looking to just start weightlifting, maybe high bar squat maybe would be possibly an option.
Because high bar is more like beginner friendly because you don't have to focus on where you have to put the bar like on your back. Because even like for myself, I still find it like weird, the placement of the bar, because maybe I don't have that big shelf to rest it on. I think for guys it's a lot easier because you could they have a bigger back. But for me, especially with a 20 kg bar, I find that it keeps slipping on my back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone is a beginner weightlifter, I definitely recommend doing high bar squat first because it's just more beginner friendly, and like you don't have to stress yourself out as to where you have to place the bar on your back because it literally just sits right there. you know.
Yeah. Something
Yeah.
like that. Right. We spoke about it at the start. We mentioned what your work life was like. Obviously, you're a competitive weightlifter, and you're a student, you're a med student, you work in a hospital. So how do you manage that time in your week?
Oh, okay. So time management, right? I am very ruthless with how I manage my time. Like, I plan what I'm gonna do like during the day, the night before. So I have like a to-do list for every single like kind of aspect of my life, like training, studying, and working. And I always schedule the most important things first. So like, training, studying, and work. And everything else that I do, I kind of just fit around those three main things. I use Google Calendar to like time block everything. And I stick to that very religiously. So I really try. So for example, if I'm studying, I'm just studying. I try eliminate all distractions. I turn my phone off. I put my phone in like airplane mode. Anything that's like gonna distract me, I just try eliminate it so I could just focus on studying alone. And when I'm working, I obviously just try focus on the work, that I'm doing, and like saving patients and helping patients. And when I'm training, I just try to shut the academic side of my brain off and just focus on training. So I try compartmentalize things, and I try not to multitask. So that's how I kind of like try get everything done, because I think multitasking is a myth. Like, I think if you're doing two things at a time, you're not really multitasking, you're just distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's kind of like having this is going to sound really bad, like having three different personalities. And I learned how to switch different parts of myself off if I don't need it. So like if I'm training, the athlete mentality is turned on, but the medic mentality is switched off. Like I don't really think about anything medically related when I'm training. I'm just training.
Yeah.
And when I go and study, I don't think about weightlifting at all. I just think about, my career and my studying. And when I'm working, I don't even mention that I'm a weightlifter or I'm doing anything else. So yeah, that's how I make sure that I have time for everything.
Yeah.
Everything that's important to me anyway. And another thing, I wake up most days 4 a.m. in the morning, like today, for example. Yeah, so I wake up 4 a.m. in the morning because I just want to maximize my day. I feel like I could extend, my working hours if I wake up earlier in the morning. And for me, conquering the morning is the most important part of the day. So I usually try do the most important things in my to-do list during that period of time, where it's from 4 a.m. till before lunchtime.
Yeah.
So my usual schedule would be like I'll wake up at 4, and then I'll do like an hour of studying, and then I walk my dog or I eat, and then I do training around about 8 o'clock. And then training takes me like 2 hours, and then I eat, and then I go to work.
Okay.
Or like study if I'm not working. So that's my usual schedule.
Yeah.
Obviously it changes if like I'm doing long days or if I'm doing nights. So, but that's kind of like my general day. So it starts 4 in the morning and usually finishes around 11. So I don't really get a full 8 hours sleep, but the sleep that I get is enough for what I need, I think, because everyone's different. Like not everyone needs a full 8 hours sleep. I actually feel more tired if I sleep like an extra hour, if I stay an extra hour in bed. Yeah.
Do you sometimes have naps in the day, or do you just not have time for any of that?
Sorry, do I?
Do you have naps in the day sometimes if you feel a bit tired?
I utilize naps kind of very strategically. So like if I've done maybe an hour and a half of studying and it's like really intense studying and I need to just like let my brain relax a bit, I nap, but I make sure I'm only napping for like 15, maximum 30 minutes. Because otherwise I know I'm not gonna get like a full night's rest, or I'm just not gonna be able to sleep, period. So yeah, I usually do studying, and then if it's just a study day, I take like multiple naps during the day. But if it's not just a study day, then I just don't have time for naps, because usually I have other things that are, scheduled in during the day, which, wouldn't allow me to have a nap.
Yeah. Those three personalities are really quite inspiring, because each one you have, having been a med student, being a competitive weightlifter, and working in a hospital like that, they're all amazing feats on their own, aren't they? And
Yes.
the way that you can join them all together as a three, it's amazing,
Yeah.
really.
So people in the hospital, most of my hospital friends, they actually do not know that I'm a competitive weightlifter, because like they only see that side of it. They know that I'm a medical student, but they only see like one side of me. And most people who see me at the gym, they don't know that I'm a medical student, because I just never talk about medicine when I'm at the gym. That's how good that I am at like trying to separate each aspect of my life, just so I don't get, too distracted.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be, talking about work when I'm at the gym trying to do a snatch,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It can be quite healthy as well, can't it? If you have a bad session and then you go to work, you can forget about it then.
Exactly. Like, for example, if I've had a really bad day at work, like I'm really, really tired, once I leave the hospital doors, I leave everything behind. So I just go home and like try rest, and then focus on the next thing that's on my list, like that could be studying or training. If every single thing in your life is connected, then I feel like you're just gonna get stressed and very, very distracted. So for me, it's literally all about eliminating distractions. I think that's the main thing in terms of my time management, not mixing everything, just literally focusing on one thing at a time. Like what I said earlier, right? When I'm training, I'm focusing on one aspect of my lift at a time. I'm not very good at doing multiple things at once, because I just feel like that's not really efficient, and that's not going to get me anywhere.
Yeah. So we've covered your training schedule, your time management. What is your nutrition looking like, both in and out of competition?
So I recently started working with a nutritionist because...
I apologise, guys. Over the next couple of minutes, the audio on the other side will go a bit funny. This is completely out of our control, and I guess that's the consequence of having this meeting over Zoom at different ends of the country. But this is the only way of doing it during a global pandemic. If you'd like to skip the next 3 minutes of the video, then feel free. Thanks, and let's continue.
I'm just getting happier. So now that I'm not competing, actually taking like some time off just to give my body a rest. So obviously when I'm preparing for a competition, it's a different story. So I would usually eat like smaller meals but more frequently, because the problem with me is that I get hungry very, very easily.
Right.
So and I'm usually satisfied with like smaller portions anyway. So eating something small frequently is like the thing that works for me. I know for other people, they find it more satisfying to actually sit down and have a bigger meal. But for me, a big meal just makes me feel sick and like makes me feel sleepy. So that kind of like works against my biology. So I really don't do that. Now, obviously, because I'm not cooking or anything, I just eat anything that I like, provided that it's healthy. I know I have different definitions of healthy, but for me, it's just sticking to like actual food instead of like products.
Yeah.
So it's sticking to like, one ingredient foods and nothing that comes in a packet, nothing with like loads and loads of ingredients. So that's my version of healthy. I don't really do like crazy diets like low carb, low fat. I don't really like into that. I just literally eat what my body feels like what I think my body needs.
Yeah.
I literally eat to fuel my body, not just for the sake of eating. Yeah. So for competitions, nutrition, it's a different story because I would have to track everything, and I would have to be more mindful as to like how much protein I'm getting, how much carbs I'm getting, and stuff.
Yeah.
But now that I'm not eating, I literally just kind of eat anything that I think would fuel me effectively for my whole day.
Yeah. So if you had to put like a value on your calorie count of the day as a weightlifter, would there be one, or does it just change day to day how you feel?
It would change day to day because like some days I have really busy days, like a heavier training day or a longer working day. Especially like if I'm doing a long day or a full night in the hospital, I would eat a lot more just because I need to be awake and I need my brain to function during those valuable hours that I'm spending with the patients and stuff.
Yeah.
But if I'm having like a rest day or like a day off from the hospital, then I find myself not eating so much. I feel like my appetite kind of adjusts itself with whatever activity I'm doing. Like my body can kind of gauge how many calories I need to consume depending on the activities I'm going to do that day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There was a question from someone on my Instagram, and he asked what his chances were of being a competitive weightlifter. I sent you that little description.
So he said, I am 20 and he snatches 108, being jerk 135, or what are my chances of getting to a high level? So I did think about this, but this is kind of like a hard question to answer because firstly, I don't know which weight class we're talking about because he could be a 55 kg weightlifter for all I know, snatching 108, and that's kind of like at a very high level already. Or he could be like a 96 kg weightlifter. So like there's a big difference between someone who's 55 snatching 108 versus someone who's like
okay, so he's an 89. He's an 89 kg.
89. So okay, 89 kg weight class. Right. So I think with this, the bottom line is age is just like one factor. It's just a small part of the whole picture. Age is a factor because with age, the earlier you start, like the more experience you get. And it's not really the age, it's like the lifting experience. That's kind of like the bigger thing that you need to consider. I believe anyone could get to a very high level as long as you're kind of driven, as long as you're very committed to weightlifting. And anyone could surpass people who have been doing it for years and years, people who are like more experienced than themselves if they're just focused and committed to making progress. So it's really difficult because, like I said, age is just a very small factor, and you could literally beat people who are either younger than you or like older than you or more experienced than you in a competition, because there are different factors in a competition. Like they could bum out, you might just be lucky that day. But in terms of getting to a high level, anyone could actually get to a high level as long as they know how to get there and they are committed and they are willing to put the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So back to you then. Going forward, long term, what are your goals in competitive weightlifting?
So I just want to be as competitive as I can for as long as I can. I know it sounds very simple, but at some point my biology would just go against me because we all get older, and I'm kind of feeling the effects of that now. I'm getting older. So my main goal is to just, be as competitive as I can for as long as I can, maybe even take this to seniors. But the main thing would be to compete at least once in a world championship. So to me, that's literally like my ultimate goal. Like once I step into the world stage at least once, I think I'll be happy and I could say, I've done it.
Yeah. You've got my full support anyway. I believe you can do it. So if you could go back now and advise yourself or anyone else thinking of picking up weightlifting, what would you tell yourself, or what would you tell them? Maybe mistakes you've made.
So the main thing would be to get a coach or join like an Olympic weightlifting club. I know this can be difficult because, like, as I said earlier, weightlifting is such a small sport, especially in this country. So there's not many coaches or clubs around. And so that might be a problem. But at least, like, get yourself someone more experienced than you to look at your lifts and not just rely on YouTube alone, because YouTube can only get you so far. Like, I know this because this is like what I did for the first year of weightlifting. I just relied on YouTube telling me and teaching me stuff. And that got me to, like, at this certain level, but nothing like national or nothing close to the records. It was only when I started like asking for people's help, asking for people who are like more experienced than me, actual British weightlifting coaches to like help me out with my technique, when I started seeing progress. So definitely find a coach, join a club, or even like, because technology now is so amazing. You could connect to coaches from miles and miles away, literally right at the other side of the world, through Instagram or Facebook or something, and try utilize, that to your advantage. Just try. Some of the weightlifters and the weightlifting coaches are very friendly because, weightlifting is a very small sport, like in comparison to like athletics or something. So everyone kind of like helps each other in a way. So don't be scared to ask for help, especially when you're a beginner, because you can't really teach yourself something that you don't know. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. And the next thing would just be to have fun and enjoy. Like, if you're a beginner, don't stress yourself out about squeezing into the smallest possible weight class for your size, or like, just chasing records or something. Because if you're a beginner, just like teach yourself how to control the bar, how to like maneuver the bar properly and safely, and just like have fun with the lifts, because ultimately, like, if you don't enjoy it now, then you're not going to be doing this for the next 5-10 years, because you'll just get bored of it, really.
Yeah, because I think for me, it's a hard one, because I do want to have a coach, a longer term coach, but it's the financial aspect as well, because it can be so costly to have a coach by your side.
I completely understand, because when I was studying, I was with Sarah Davies and Jack with Wisdom for Weightlifting. So Sarah actually gave me a discount because I was a student. So still, don't be afraid. I know like they put prices online and stuff, but if you actually talk to them in person, they might be able to offer you something, that's like less costly, because they might consider your situation. Like, at the end of the day, these people are humans. Like, I'm sure they would like understand your situation, because they've probably been through the same situation in the past. So yeah, just don't be afraid to like communicate your concerns, and communicate like like how much you could pay for a program or something. Or like, alternatively, if someone, for example, if a friend of yours is getting like programming from someone, I think like not copying their program entirely, because every program is individualized for people for specific reasons, but like just kind of learning how weightlifting programming works, and just like trying to mimic that sort of program, because weightlifting programming is very different from powerlifting, from bodybuilding and stuff. So just knowing what a weightlifting program actually looks like is an advantage already. And you could even read books. There are loads of like books in weightlifting that teaches you how to program yourself. So if money is an issue, then like educating yourself might be, another good option.
I feel like we've covered quite a lot there. Start like concluding this Zoom meeting, just by asking you if you could meet any sports person. Doesn't have to be weightlifting.
Okay.
Meet them and train with them. Who would
Yeah.
that be?
Okay, there are quite a lot. In weightlifting, it would be Shi Jiong, China. I think he's a 73 kg weightlifter. He's like, I don't know, right at the top. Like, he's like favorite male weightlifter. He's just amazing because like he does his first clean and jerk to win the championship and does the second one to get like the world record.
Yeah.
And then like doesn't even need to do the third one. Like, who the hell?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone else who could do that. He's just amazing. So it would be Shi Jiang, China.
And it's his attitude and like personality as well when he's finishing his lift. It's just,
you know what? At one point, like his scream was my alarm.
really.
Because his scream was like the most beautiful sound I've ever heard. Like when he goes
Yeah.
that used to be my alarm clock, but it's kind of like
That's
weird, so I stopped that. But yeah, he's just amazing.
That's class. Well, Christina, thank you for having this Zoom meeting with me. I hope people watching this video is taking quite a lot of information from this. I know myself it's been really valuable. Obviously, everyone go follow Christina on Instagram. Support the follower journey in competitive weightlifting. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then please just let me know, put comments or message me. Happy to do another one. Or just to obviously develop this sport and increase the participation and awareness. Hopefully we'll do a good job of it. So thanks, Christina. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys.